if the prodigious GTI version simply isn't enough for you, it's time you meet its more muscular brother. Step forward, the Volkswagen Golf R. While not quite as much of an outright psychopath as a Mercedes A45 AMG, the Golf R doesn't cost as much either. It's also quite a lot faster on the road than offerings such as the Ford Focus Street, and comfier and more accessible than all of the above. Available in both 3 and 5-door guises. In fact, the Golf R's main rival comes from within the VAG stable. Audi's S3 in 3-door or 5-door Sportback configuration not only shares its parentage but also the car's basic architecture. It's not that much dearer than the R, at less than £1,000 more. Another car in the same arena is BMW's excellent M135i, a version of the rear-wheel drive 1 Series with a 3.0-litre turbocharged petrol engine. Where the Golf R makes its mark is in the combination of comfort and speed. It's a focused car which is hugely capable point-to-point. Its excellent chassis and strong brakes meaning you can harness a lot of the engine's power. But thanks to optional adaptive dynamics it can also be quite comfortable too. Petrol engine, 4-wheel drive like the S3 Sportback, the Golf R is powered by a brilliant 2.0-litre turbocharged petrol engine. It's the same basic unit as found under the bonnet of the Golf GTI, but tuned to return nearly 300 bhp and 380 Nm of torque. This power is sent to the front wheels, but thanks to a clever Haldex all-wheel drive system it can also send up to 100% of its power to the rear wheels if it detects the front ones spinning. This effectively makes the R 4-wheel drive, and the amount of sheer grip on offer is incredible. You've got a choice of 6-speed manual or 6-speed DSG automatic gearboxes. The quickest Golf R is the Auto, which will cover 0.62 miles per hour in 4.9 seconds. The manual is considerably slower, taking 5.3 seconds to hit the same speed from standstill. While it's faster than a lot of sports cars, its performance credentials run in parallel with very agreeable running costs. Fuel economy is a claimed average of 40.9 miles per gallon, while CO2 emissions as low as 159 gkm mean it doesn't cost too much to tax, either. Lots of equipment being the flagship of the Golf range, you can expect a lot of kit on your R. It's possible to bump the price up quite considerably too, as there's quite a list of optional extras available. Included in the car's basic list price are highlights such as adaptive cruise control, a touchscreen multimedia system, parking sensors and a race CI-inspired fabric interior. To separate you from lesser Golfs, you also get that fetching body kit and those bespoke 18-inch alloy wheels. You'll be able to spot and hear an R from the rear thanks to the 4 exhausts, a pair poking from underneath each side of the rear bumper. Optionally available is a selection of interior trims, sat-nav, larger 19-inch wheels, and of course a number of paint finishes. While we think the R is a worthy rival to the S3 Sportback and the M135i, its bigger problem is closer to home. It's a hefty £4,000 more than the already excellent Golf GTI. For most drivers that's going to be difficult to justify. Read on for the full Volkswagen Golf R review to find out if it's worth the extra cash. Performance. As you'd expect for a car at the pinnacle of the range, Volkswagen Golf R performance is impressive. The 2.0-litre turbocharged petrol engine is the same as found in the Golf GTI, but VW's engineers have heavily reworked it so it produces around 80 bhp more. Headline figures, then, a power of 296 bhp and torque of 380 Nm available between 1,800 revolutions per minute and 5,500 revolutions per minute. Thanks to that latter, it's a very flexible engine, and you've got impressive power reserves in almost any situation. It's smooth and easy to drive slowly too, though. There's a fairly linear power delivery considering the engine's turbocharged nature. You don't get a sudden punch in the back, it's more of an increasingly exciting ferocity the higher up the revs you go. As you get towards the red line end of the rev range, you'll find a car with a savage power delivery that slingshots you up the road. It feels every bit as quick as its acceleration figures suggest, covering 0.62 miles per hour in 4.9 seconds if you've got an automatic or 5.3 seconds if you've got a manual. We've only driven the 6-speed manual gearbox at the moment, but can report it's excellent. There's a very satisfying shift action, it's a short throw yet it's solid and feels very robust, which inspires confidence. Sure, it's not the fastest way to play golf, but it's certainly more satisfying for the common enthusiastic driver than an automatic. You can alter the engine's response using the driver profile selector button, which allows the driver to choose between eco, normal, race or individual settings. The latter allows you to configure each adjustable parameter individually for your own bespoke preferred setting. Handling. The first thing you need to know about the way the Golf R handles is there's an absolute lorry load of grip on offer. While the GTI is front-wheel drive, the R makes use of the firm's 4Motion four-wheel drive system for superior traction and confident handling in all situations. It works by diverting torque to the rear wheels when it detects the front ones start to slip. In extreme cases it can even send all power to the rear wheels, or some to either end of the car as required. The system reacts in fractions of a second, which means you're never struggling for grip. So it's got go-anywhere capability, but at the expense of excitement? Not exactly. The Golf R is a rewarding car to drive. Not only does it feel seriously fast, but it's composed and balanced when cornering too. The steering is surprisingly good, full of feedback and nice and responsive. VW has reworked the Golf's steering for the R and it certainly shows. Other cars on the same platform can only dream of this sort of precision. While normal driving makes the R feel nearly peerless, those who enjoy taking the car to its limits will feel short-changed if they've tried the BMW M135i and its rear-wheel drive chassis. At the limit, the Golf's front wash is predictably wide, where the BMW offers a level of adjustability in corners by using your right foot. To provide more engagement, Volkswagen has built in a system where the driver can either have full stability and traction control operational, or a sport mode which allows a little more slip before intervening. The steering can be adjusted using the driver profile selection button, which means you can add weighting by choosing sport or race modes. The latter also allows the traction control to be switched off altogether, should you find yourself on a racetrack where you don't require electronic intervention to prevent crashes. Available as an optional extra, adaptive chassis control allows the driver to use the driver profile selection feature to sharpen up the handling for ultimate cornering or soften it for the most comfortable ride. Equipment. We're dealing with just one trim level here, but since it's the flagship Golf you can expect rather a lot of kit. You can add more, too. There's a long list of optional extras on offer. Standard Volkswagen Golf R equipment highlights from the list of kit installed as standard on the Golf R include adaptive cruise control, which brakes automatically to stop you hitting the car in front if they're traveling slower, and dual zone climate control. The standard interior trim is fabric and the front seats are special sports items. As standard, the multimedia system is a 5.8-inch touchscreen unit with DAB digital radio, CD player, 8 speakers, Bluetooth, USB and aux-in connectivity, and controls on the steering wheel to operate it. Front and rear parking sensors are thrown in too, along with loads of safety kits. See safety section for that, and of course the driver profile selection function, which allows you to set the car up in either sport, race, normal, eco or individual modes depending on your tastes. Picking the R out among a crowd of Golfs is simple. It's got a bespoke body kit and some special 18-inch alloys along with that conspicuous quartet of exhaust pipes poking out from the rear bumper. You also get bi-xenon headlights and LED tail lights. Optional Volkswagen Golf R accessories. Probably the most important of the optional extras is the option to add a sat-nav system, which is bound to appeal to those wanting to prop up the resale value of the car. You can also pick a number of interior designs including leather and carbon fiber detailing. There are 8 paint finishes on offer along with the option to bump up to 19-inch alloys. There's a panoramic sunroof, though this is expensive and we wonder whether it'll affect the car's handling since it adds weight very high up in the car. Adaptive chassis control is definitely worth considering, allowing drivers to switch the suspension between comfort and sporty configurations for the best of both worlds. Also on offer are a variety of features such as voice-activated multimedia, heated seats, heated windscreen, keyless entry, a rear-view camera and lane assist, which warns if you're straying out of your lane by mistake. Of course, there are the usual dealer-fit accessories too, such as tow bars and roof boxes. Comfort, it's better than you might expect. While the ride is definitely sportier than your average hatchback and thus bumpy roads feels bumpier and potholes jolt through the entire car's chassis, Volkswagen Golf R comfort levels are actually fairly high. The seats are particularly good. They're supportive but don't hem you in completely like some racy-inspired bucket seats tend to do. That makes it easy to get in and out of the car. Road noise does filter into the cabin, especially at motorway speeds, but you can forgive the that since the engine sounds absolutely fantastic. It's not too loud either, unless you switch it into sport or race mode. In that case the vicious engine note gets much louder indeed. We've only tried the R with the optional dynamic chassis control, so you may find the ride on standard suspension is a little more uncomfortable. It allows you to either firm up or soften the responses at the touch of a button, while the standard fit suspension is fixed. Practicality, this isn't a lot to separate the regular Golf and the R in this respect. In fact, Volkswagen Golf R practicality is only hampered by a slightly smaller boot space than regular Golfs. The load space floor has had to be raised slightly to fit the four-wheel drive system, so boot volume drops from 380 litres to 343. It's available in both 3 and 5-door body styles, unlike some rivals, and adults can fit comfortably in the back. We wouldn't try with more than 2, though. You get a generous size glove box and a decent cubby underneath the armrest between the front seats. 2. Safety. As we've come to expect from the more premium German car companies, there are loads of Volkswagen Golf R safety systems in place to keep both occupants and pedestrians out of trouble. It's for that reason the Golf has been awarded a maximum 5 stars in the Euro NCAP crash tests. Over the GTI, the R model gets adaptive cruise control and a low-speed automatic emergency braking function. There's also a set of standard bi-xenon headlights, LED daytime running lights and LED tail lights. You also get that four-wheel drive system, which is likely to help when conditions get slippery. Other safety kit installed includes a number of airbags, an automatic post-collision braking system to prevent more collisions once one has occurred, the driver alert system which measures and warns of fatigue and ISOFIX child seat mounting points. You can also order a number of optional extras to boost safety. Automatic high-beam headlights, a lane departure warning system and a heated windscreen. There's also an optional side airbag for rear seat passengers in 5-door models. Reliability. There really isn't a huge amount you need to worry about regarding Volkswagen Golf R reliability. The firm has built and maintained an exemplary record in this field for decades. We're not aware of any major product recalls for either the previous version or the GTI with which it shares much of its parts. The interior feels well built and robust, while the 4Motion four-wheel drive system is tried and tested in several VW products. Even the optional DSG automatic gearbox is known for its reliability.
Yeah.